Good morning, Mosstyn. Thanks for coming online. Looking forward to hearing more about your story. So would you start off by introducing yourself and tell us a bit about your business?
Yeah, Milton, thanks for having me. My name's Mosstyn Howell. I'm the founder and CEO of a digital parking company called UbiPark. We started in 2014 and have grown into 4 regions across the world now. Just a quick snapshot: we've digitized the parking transaction, allowing you to search, navigate, access and pay for parking directly from the smartphone. And we've now put that inside the dash of the car. And we're playing in the digital space. So we see the parking transaction being done as a service inside larger ecosystems. So we actually believe a standalone parking app will die. And this parking transaction we done inside a service inside 3 main ecosystems. We're looking at smart property, so the smart property apps like Equium and Host and others. Also in the connected car platforms, we've done a solution with Porsche and got a contract with BMW. And we're also probably the main area of the future. It's just starting to emerge now, is that it'll be part of the mobility as a service or smart city, or the total transport solution, where your public transport solution will have parking, digital parking technology included in that solution as well.
So, Mosstyn, what are the benefits of UbiPark?
Yeah, we're aimed at providing solutions for asset owners. So we were a B2C solution when we first started, and we pivoted into enterprise B2B technology out of survival more than anything. But also, once we worked out if you solve a problem for an asset owner, they'll actually pay for it. So at the moment, COVID's created a hybrid working environment, as you all know. Our technology allowing the sharing of parking spaces automatically is helping get people back into the office and providing a better tenant experience. We've got some key tenants that might have 80 odd spaces as part of their lease. They were using 8 to 10 spaces a day as they come out of COVID, and we've got them up to 95 to 98% utilisation of those spaces now.
Right. So please go ahead.
Yeah, so the benefits that we're looking at is providing better tenant experiences, so they're stickier to the property, helping them get their staff back into the office. Also, by providing better utilisations mean they're getting better use of those spaces and getting more people back into the office.
I understand it's a benefit to the either the lessee or the sparks, or the owners, of course. But what's the benefit to the consumer?
I think the big benefit's really to the tenant, and then actually to the staff. So a lot of staff won't have parking as part of their package, and will be left to find early bird parking or equivalent to get to the office. This allows those parkers to be able to use the office car park. So we've got 300 or 400 people sharing 50 odd spaces. People only in the office 2-3 days a week on average means that we can get more people through the office car park and into the office car park. But also, parking's always been attached to the level you are in the business. So getting more people into the office car park also gives them a sense of, also improving the culture in the business as well. But instead of paying $25, $30 to a parking operator across the road from the office to park all day, they're getting into the office car park for free.
Okay, right. So there is a cost saving then for the consumer in many cases.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. How did you get into this business?
I've been a parking geek for 25 years now. So I originally started.
What's a parking geek?
I think there's not too much that I can't answer, or find someone in my network that will answer around the parking world. I started as an operator working for Wilson Parking, both here in New Zealand. Got into selling the ski data parking technology that they were attached to, and then moved to another competitor selling similar parking technology. I was a sales director there and tasked with finding different technology around the world to bring back into Australia, New Zealand, and the Philippines. And that's when I started to see the ability for a smartphone app to open a barrier or open anything with an electronic lock.
Right.
And saw, back in 2013, 2014, saw that the phone was probably going to become a centerpiece of how we live, and felt that we could do a better job of the parking transaction as that moved into actually being reality.
Who'd be your ideal client or customer?
Yeah, parking's really wide. It's in every different property industry you can think of. So airports, hospitals, retail, commercial and residential property. So you get universities, the city councils. The airports are the ones that are turning over the most revenue in parking. So in Australia, it's around $1 billion out of the major capital cities. So they are definitely the target customer for us. But we also see that there's a real move in that smart property space inside the commercial property to do things in a better, more efficient way and help that tenant experience is really driving a lot of our growth at the moment. There's a lot of archaic processes in parking. So we do go into a lot of solutions and digitize that process and make that more efficient with our automation in our technology. So we're seeing a big customer at the moment, Monash Health, 20,000 staff across 7 campuses, and they're automating their entire staff parking solution from start to finish. And that's got massive benefits to them across many different areas.
Mosstyn, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in the business right now?
Scale and growth. Didn't take long to answer that one, Milton, did I?
No, that was quick.
No, we've grown considerably since 2020. So we're doing about 12 times payments revenue, so top line revenue through our platform. Users have grown by around 5 times in the same period, and transactions are around 10 times what we were doing in 2020. So the business has had some really good growth, and we've been able to do that. And being a sales-led founder of a business, probably haven't had the great attention to detail or document out of a lot of things. So we've had to go back and do a lot of that foundation work over the last 12 months, and feel like we're really now well set up to scale quickly. But that's been, everyone said it'd be hard. It's sort of harder than I anticipated.
Yeah, getting that foundation right and the systems in place is something that often you leave too late. You sort of go back and have to but in some ways you learn what you need to, what the business, how it develops, what it actually needs to. So there's a good and bad aspect to that.
Yeah, I think we grew the business with no apologies on the back of sales. So and pretty much I'd find a sale and the CTO, I'd ask him whether we could, do what the customer was asking. He said, if you get the signature, we'll do it. And we used to build the solutions very bespoke to that. Now we've done a lot of work on, bringing our functionality into products and being able to be repeatable sales without having to do development work. So we're moving and transition through that. We're probably at the end of it leading to a product-led development roadmap rather than a sales or customer-led product map. So that's been a real big transition in the business, and we feel like we've got repeatable products that we can roll out and configure for our customers, and allows us to do more sales quicker.
What's 1 or 2 actions you've taken because of the pandemic, and how they're working?
Yeah, there's been lots actually. I think like everyone else, we went into survival mode early. So we really looked at our business hard around what we needed and what was working. And I think in a lot of ways that actually set us up to really understand, I suppose, what products and functionality was actually working for us and creating value for the customer as well as our business. So I think that sort of sent us from COVID, I think it's sent us in the right track around being more B2B and enterprise focused. I think we've also, being a startup into a scale up, you're always hustling and find different ways to do things. But I think that sort of comes through our culture a little bit as well. So I think the team, we're able to empower the team a lot better and give them all more opportunities through some of the things that happened through COVID. And I think that sort of set us up and put us on the right track. But other than that, I think COVID was terrible for our industry. But I think in a lot of ways, people started to rethink how to do things. So they fast tracked a lot of the stuff that we were already trying to do. We was remote working before 2020 and become hybrid working, but we're already doing solutions for some large telco companies around better utilisation of space with a remote working environment with not everyone in the office. And that got fast tracked into the hybrid working agile parking solution we have now.
What's the biggest learning you've had since being a business owner?
Cash flow. Again, I think probably to start off a business, sometimes you need to be a little bit naive, otherwise maybe you won't start it up. But probably, definitely thought I knew more than what I actually did around running a business. So it was a really steep learning curve for me. The importance of good people, and you can't do it all yourself, is probably another key takeaway. And leaning on, I suppose, not trusting everyone more. And I'm a very trustworthy person, so that was probably another big learning for me, is to make sure you do a little bit of due diligence around people you are trusting and taking advice from, so to make sure you are getting the right advice. Sorry, Milton, you're on mute.
Sorry. What have you learned about yourself during this journey?
A lot more resilience than I thought I had. A fair bit of determination as well to succeed, and a fair bit of drive that I didn't think I had. And just, I suppose you're always in, you're not in your comfort zone and in your sweet spot. Like I'm a very good salesperson, but having to learn, everything around accounting in the business, or how to build a product or the technology, it's definitely not been my strong background or knowledge or experience, but having to get your hands dirty in all those areas has made me definitely a better person and a more rounded CEO.
How do you find your inspiration each day?
Yeah, I love coming to work. I think having the ability to change and create, say, the future of parking, which we believe we're sort of sitting in now. And seeing, we've gone through stages in our industry where Australia's been really at the forefront of a lot of parking technology, and it's probably not seen as groundbreaking as it actually has been here. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Wilson Parking really drove automation and taking staff out of parking booths and providing that automated car park that we see today. Westfield really drove the ticketless parking solutions we see in our retail centres today. They virtually forced the industry to come up with a solution in about 2008, 2009. And also, I think the ability, and I think it's going to go another step, disintegrated into the bigger ecosystem, and parking sitting inside, the mobility world, is the next step that we see it going, and that's really exciting to see. The mobility people don't probably understand parking and the power of it that it has to attract or get them to their key target customer, and might be getting the person driving to work every day out of the car and onto more sustainable transport. But it has the ability to have that relationship with that customer so they can educate them on quicker and better ways to get to work in the future.
Do you have any favourite quotes or sayings that keep you focused each day?
Oh, I don't, off the top of my head. No, there's a heap of stuff that we say, but look, I'm pretty big around relationships, Milton. So I think to me, there's a few sayings around the relationships and that I can't just put my finger on at the moment. But for me, relationships with our customers, listening to our customers is probably where we're gaining the best traction, I suppose, in the market.
Yeah.
And then for me, I'm always making sure that we're creating a better tomorrow. And that's sort of not just in the technology and what we're doing at UbiPark, but making sure that our staff have got better opportunities and are and learning and reaching some of their goals. So I think that culture is something that we're really proud of here.
Great. What would you say to anyone thinking of going into business?
Think again. No, look, I think it's been highly rewarding to do. We've sort of been going now for 9 years. Lots of mistakes early. Still probably making mistakes now that we don't even know. But it's been super rewarding to get the business to where it is now, and it's exciting to see where it can go and start to realising its potential. But it's a hard slog. It's a roller coaster ride that's going to have a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and it's not for everyone. So just definitely make sure. We just had a staff member that's gone, and we've encouraged him to start a business that they've been wanting to do for ages, and we gave them the same advice that you're in for a rough ride, but at the end of it, it can be super rewarding.
If you started your business again, what would you do differently?
Oh, everything. No, I think we made some real basic mistakes. So I think we're definitely a lot more experienced now. But I'd look at it a lot better. I'd definitely plan a lot more. I'd definitely get a lot more customer or market research on the product fit. I think that was probably the big thing for us. We thought we knew what the market wanted and what they were looking for, but when we actually started to test tech and functionality that we were creating, we were finding that they actually wanted it a little bit different to what we thought. I think that's the other probably big thing for me. I wanted to build everything with the bells and whistles on it straight up. And I've learned very quickly that, the MVP, get some feedback, improve the product, get some more feedback, improve the product it'll save you time and money in getting the right product to the market. So that's probably the main thing.
What's the best advice you would have given to your 18-year-old self?
Stay in school, do a little bit more around that. I left before finishing HSC. I did learn a lot coming out in that first year of living out and working away from home. But I wish I'd done a little bit more around that education to set me up on some of the stuff I've had to sort of learn a little bit the hard way. Also, back yourself. Like I think at times in the early days, if I'd backed myself a lot earlier, I think I might have got here a little bit earlier, if that makes sense, Milton.
Cool. What does the future look like, and what do you see are the main challenges moving forward in your industry and for you personally in the business?
Yeah, there's lots of changes in the industry, so I'll start there. So I think we're moving away from silo type operations, and you'll see the large operators, it's all around their brand, and it should be. They're running a business, it's around their brand. The cities are very similar, it's around just looking at the city assets. But if we want to be an entire smart city solution and do things that's better for the city and getting people around the city, it needs to be looked at and in its entirety. And needs to be looked at as not one brand, but the city as a whole. Right. So I think that'll be the main change in our industry as we start to see parking become more involved in the mobility and the total transport journey world. And I also see it being done in non-traditional areas. You could have you can do your parking transaction from the dash of your car, branded for Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, whatever it might be. And also, yeah, so a lot more collaborative approach and a lot more opportunities to integrate into non-traditional parking technology. For us, we're super exciting. I think we're on the start of a really expansive journey. Parking challenges exist across the world, very similar to what we see here in Australia. So the UK and the US are the two markets where we're looking at the moment with solutions that we've just rolled out to, and they're very, very similar. In fact, the US is probably more manual and archaic processes than anywhere. I think they're going to skip. They didn't do the automation as widely as Australia has or the UK has. But I think they're going to skip that and go into more parking applications integrated into these bigger ecosystems. The challenges around parking, I think, is more the perception. Autonomous vehicles was probably seen as the death of parking. Our belief is that they'll still need to be stored. I think that the parking station of the future will be somewhere they can be stored. They won't be able to drive around by themselves forever. They'll need to be charged, probably. They'll definitely need to be cleaned and serviced, tyres changed. And I think the parking locations that we currently have, or they'll be the service stations of the future. I think also the future is, and we're starting to see it with the City of Melbourne's parking strategy, maybe not as much on-street parking, but better utilisation of our off-street assets, including residential car parks. For instance, in Melbourne, it's between 30 and 40% vacancy on average in a residential car park that's free each day, that could be utilised to get people off the street and use the curbside for stuff like drop-offs and pickups in Ubers. And curbside's going to be really hard fought, I think, over the next 5 to 10 years on what actually happens on the curbside. And I think parking will start to come away from the curbside and back into more off-street locations.
Mosstyn, I've already noticed in Melbourne, they're taking away a lot of car parks, but more importantly, they're taking away whole lanes. Where there were 2 lanes in either direction in and around the city, now there's only 1. And for example, Collins Street's just it's a car park. It's horrific to try and get down and out. What effect is that having on the inner city car parks?
I think the City of Melbourne's got just put out this strategy, and I think it's really well put together. To be fair, and they've done a great job thinking about it. I think bike lanes maybe not as well used as they hoped, so maybe they've got that a little wrong. But getting people, I think the other thing is getting people that are not having to come through the city to get to another destination will be a key strategy of allowing people to get around the city that are coming to the city as a destination better. And as I said, I think there's a real opportunity for the city or the state government to provide a solution that allows, the on-street parking bays are the most visible, and they're always thought of as the most cost-effective, which is not always the truth. It's about giving people knowledge and awareness that there is other options for them and the cost around that, so they can make better decisions of where to park when they come to the city. But I think it's only going to get tougher, Milton, as our population grows again. I think COVID gave us a little bit of respite around congestion and things like that, but you can start to see the city getting really congested again now.
That's been great, Mosstyn. Thank you. Finally, are there any offers you want to make to put in the newsletter?
Oh, look, we'd love people to maybe reach out to us that maybe have a property that's got a parking location, or they've got staff trying to get in. We'd be happy to do a free sort of parking health check and provide any advice back to them on what they may be able to do to improve getting more staff into the office or whatever they're wanting to achieve in their parking requirements. They can reach out. Our website is www.ubipark.com. Reach me on LinkedIn anytime, or my mobile 0419 100 334. More than happy to take a call from anyone wanting to talk parking.
Great. Thanks, boy. Thanks for your time. That I really appreciate it. I've learned a lot too. Thoroughly enjoyed talking to you.
Thanks, Milton. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.